This is Talk Easy. I'm Sam Fragoso. Welcome to the show. Ilana Glazer, welcome to the show. So you've been on the road touring, performing stand-up, going from city to city. How's it going out there? Like, is everyone all right?
You know what I will tell you? Okay, well, listen, I'll disclaim that I'm a hopeful person, that I have faith, and that I am filled with gratitude. Besides this disclaimer for what? Being subjective to my own experience? I don't know. I will say...
It's always good when someone comes on the show and begins with a disclaimer.
Good. Good, Sam. I will say the people out there are good. The majority of people are good. The majority of people have love in their hearts in this country. It is so clear to me that we are being manipulated by a powerful minority to believe that we are at war. But people are fucking chill. People like to laugh. People like to be connected. People like to be in community. And, you know, there's all this like racist mythology that our country is built on to keep things running the way it is. So there's this mythology around Black people. Now there's this mythology around white men. And I'm like, they're fine. They're fine. They're chilling.
What's the mythology?
It's not just white men, but like the white supremacist patriarchy that is like, oh, we can't say anything. And it's like, you know, it's such a fragile, it's so fragile, you know, and they think that messaging thinks it's exuding strength, but it's exuding like complete hysterics, total fragility. And it's like, well, you know, the few billionaires, yeah, you have no connection to the ground. Like, yes, you're limited because you're not part of the people. But the guy, you know, the white guys out there, they're, you know, even if they're looking at me like, what's she talking about? They're also like, you know, it's fine. Everybody's fine.
What was the title of your last special?
The Planet is Burning.
That special came out in 2020. We're sitting here 4 years later. That feels like
yeah. Oh my God.
That feels like a long time ago. And yet you're the first person I've spoken to on the show recently that's coming out hot and saying, we're all right.
Well, I mean, I what I rather mean is that we would be.
Okay.
And I do, if we weren't, it's really about the socials, and it's really about the ratcheting up of surveillance technology on social media, and you know, our phones are listening and selling us shit we don't need that's ruining the planet. It's not like I'm like, everything's fine, but I'm like, society's fucked, but humanity's okay. And that's what I'm like evoking here. But society's born out of humanity. You know, this idea of a powerful minority and the violent wealth hoarding that is making our planet burn, that is born out of humanity. Bell Hooks calls it the imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy. But it's just one way things are. It doesn't have to be this way. It just happens to be this way now.
So as it is right now, this is a tough moment for this movie to be coming out right now. You have this film called Babes, and you talked about this loud minority. And of course, I can't help but think about, you know, Roe v. Wade being overturned in a 6-3 decision. And this film is explicitly about choice, in which your character has a one-night stand and then decides, I'm going to keep the child.
I have your back no matter what.
Truly, truly, truly. You will be there for me every step of the way, no matter what choice I make. I need to know that.
Yes.
Okay. I am going to have a baby. I'm gonna have the baby. Mom? Yeah. Okay. Yes! I'm gonna be a mother. I'm gonna be a mommy. I like that. Okay, mamacita. Nope, that's appropriation. Okay, I'm having a baby, okay? Yes, dog, yeah. It just feels like destiny, and this is Destiny's child. Can you believe that? Mm-mm. Did you hear that? Destiny's child? Oh, jumpin'. Whoa, okay, it's on.
Eden, are you sure about this? Because the hormones can be pretty intense.
Hormones? LOL, Mitch McConnell. I love you. What?
Eden, I just wanna, I'm just trying to say, I'm just.
Son, you think I can do this, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you started writing the movie, you hadn't had a kid yet, right?
I was pregnant.
You were pregnant. So when you first started working on it in 2021, how did you understand the film then? And how do you understand it now as a mother?
2021. If I can just because it's occupying my mind. You know, I have hope, but it's also like a compulsion. Sometimes my hopefulness is a bit of denial for survival. You know, It's not even and the thing about people, I just love people so much. And having a kid now, it's I see the little baby version of everybody, you know, we're like trees where we just have these rings. And I can more astutely sense the prior tree rings, you know? So I'm thinking as you talk about beginning writing this movie in 2021, and I'm I call him Donald Duck. Was Donald Duck president?
No, not in 2021. Yeah.
Oh, LOL. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Joe Biden had just become president, which at this point, oh, fuck.
Yes.
Great. But even still, I don't know. We had just survived 4 years of that. I mean, but not everyone did. You know what I mean? But so as you say, this movie, it's a tough moment to come out. I'm like, girl, really? Aren't we desperate for it? I feel like it's a great time for it to come out.
Maybe by tough, I meant timely. But tough, given that there are people in 21 states right now that
psychotic and sadistic.
That's what I meant by tough.
Psychotic and sadistic. It's crazy. Abortion is simply healthcare, but this way to control women's bodies and Black bodies through policing abortion is psychotic and sadistic. It's always worth saying. Okay, so you were saying that you were bringing up that when I started in 2021, Roe v. Wade hadn't been federally overturned yet.
Yes, and you yourself were not a mom yet. And now that the film is done and it is coming out in the world, you are. And I wonder how you're thinking about the project, given that you transformed within the process of making it.
I have fostered a stronger relationship with my own personal experience. The boundaries around that versus a performance or public experience are more crystallized than they ever have been in my life. I find the performance of press draining, but I don't actually want it to be more authentic. I want to be performing, you know? And
I'm asking you to do something else.
Well, this is different.
You seem to be making this distinction between personal and impersonal.
Correct.
Which is, I assume, because it is your therapist that told you that the work you're doing on stage is impersonal.
Correct.
Is that right?
That's right.
So you've been making some distinction. Maybe you want to unpack that.
So, you know, during the Broad City years, Abbi and I were so generative in such a short amount of time. And we were just younger. And consciousness had been what it was. It wasn't as peeled back and exposed as it is today, you know, just culturally. You know, but those lines, there was something extractive about Broad City. It was an extractive experience, Broad City, because I didn't know. When I was younger, you know, I started comedy when I was 19, and it was the first time I was having sex out in the world, getting drunk, living, you know, not under my parents' roof, new friends for the first time in years.
Well, I was thinking. I know this time. I've heard you talk about this before, and you said when I started comedy is right when I started taking antidepressants.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so fascinated by that. Did that help you do that? 'Cause
Definitely.
performing is anxiety inducing.
Definitely. Yeah, and like helped lift me out of depression. I was like remembering and telling someone the other day, my friend's partner is having a deep, wide mental health struggle. And I was like, I've had a psychotic break. Oh, yeah, I was telling him. And all these people close to me, psychotic break? Yeah. Oh, come to me. Talk about it. I was like, I'll leave you voice memos about a psychotic break. So I was on antidepressants, but I also was on like these antipsychotics for like a couple weeks to sleep. I was having like I was manic for a week and then sleep for a week.
What would that look like when you had a break?
Oof, I this 1 week in college, I didn't couldn't sleep for like a whole week.
Oh,
yeah. And it was scary. It was scary, and you don't know what's going on, what's right, what's wrong, and I needed to sleep. I was so obsessed with, I was on financial aid, and I was in school when my brother was in college, and hearing my parents' financial struggles then, and I was like so obsessed with never missing a class just to make the most of their money. I was like, you're getting every dollar. And but I remember this week that I needed that medicine and needed to sleep, and I had to miss some classes and felt so guilty.
And you're still feeling guilty about it?
Clearly. No, I feel great now. But because I needed to miss those classes, that's clear. But yeah, definitely there would be no Broad City without antidepressants.
Watching this new movie, I kept thinking Babes is like the act 2 of adult female friendship, and Broad City is act 1. And so I wanted to go back a little bit. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, good.
Sam.
When you're 19, in New York, NYU, you meet Abbi in 2006 at UCB. The two of you are in an improv group called Secret Promise Circle.
Oh my God.
And so one day you find yourselves at a pizza parlor on 30th and 7th Avenue, where the two of you with black and white composition notebooks devise a plan that would become Broad City. Do you remember how you two talked about the show that day?
Yes, I remember the moment in which we realized we could just be ourselves. We were trying to make up some jumping off point. And then we realized we could simply be ourselves, that we were enough. And it started with, oh my gosh, I'm emotional. It started with eggs. The fact that you can't get eggs at a bodega after 11 a.m. makes no damn sense.
It's so funny. I didn't want to admit this, but I also get emotional about eggs. This egg sandwiches, set them free. I want an 11:30 bacon, egg, and cheese.
Fully. Also, bitch, I'm 19. I'm getting up at 11:45.
Yeah.
Fully. Hilarious. Oh my God. And we were just like, that's funny. I don't know. Let's just do that. And then just pitching ideas and being like, web series was not a thing yet. There was one other web series, a guy named Tim, and then another guy named Nick.
Yeah, we had him on last week.
Are you joking?
Yeah, totally. Who the fuck are Tim and Nick? Every white alt comic at UCB?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, yeah. So it was one web series that we had heard of at the time. We were like, there's this thing, I think. It's like a web series. We could do that. And
what about remembering the two of you in that pizza parlor makes you emotional?
I mean, time, just holding, touching into those tree rings and feeling back to the closer to the center. You know what I don't know. I don't know. Like, damn, just time. Like, fuck, that was so long ago. Was I 19 then? No, I was 22. I was 22. Just like, wow, that was 15 years ago. Just the physical feeling of time.
When I had Abbi on the show, we were trying to pinpoint the origin of the show.
She must have had such a good time. This is an Abbi Jacobson.
She is a Talk Easy longtime supporter.
Oh, she got good taste, baby.
We thank her for it. Thank you. And we were trying to find the precursor to the show. And then we watched an early video you two made that I thought you and I could watch for a second.
Oh, I'm going to get clamped. We'll see. Maybe not.
This is Making Change.
Well, it's annoying that both our brothers have coffee table books.
No, I know. And Elliot's a year older than me. Like, I don't know if I want to have a coffee table book, but I couldn't at this point.
Spare a nickel, spare a quarter, spare a dollar.
Oh, I don't have any cash, man. I'm sorry.
All right, well, you have a wonderful day.
I have a 10. If you could give me 8 back, we're good.
Yeah, I have 8.
That's perfect. Thank you so much.
All
Yes.
right.
Have a good day.
God bless you.
Okay.
Seriously,
And
just do
this
that?
is for the bagel. Thank you.
Ilana, what the f*** are you doing? You just make cash with the homeless person?
I just said thank you for the bagel, and you say,
What do you mean? Yeah, I mean, you don't do that. I don't know how you don't see that. That's disrespectful, first of all.
it isn't disrespectful. I employed him momentarily.
That's disrespectful? I don't know. You don't understand that.
No, it isn't, Abby. That was
Secondly-
dignified. I gave him $2.
Did you? Okay, great. You can did you not hear me say I don't have any cash? No, you give me cash in front of. He's watching me right now. I have to.
Oh,
I have
he's
to give it to
watching.
him.
You
No, you're
promised
making me a
him
liar.
A liar. What are you, Christian? Who cares? Come
No,
on.
not Christian. You know I'm not fucking Christian, but he's seeing me. He's still watching me.
You
I
know,
have to,
get all
do that
stressed
shit to me
out
all the
about what strangers think of you. What does that guy care? You made him a promise, like you have guilt that isn't planted in reality.
Yeah, have a go.
Talking to my fucking self here. I am talking to myself. Oh,
Yeah, talk to
God!
yourself. You know, let me do it. Just let me.
You did it!
Put me in a situation, and I'm gonna do it. So.
Yeah, walk ahead of me.
Oh, I love it. I love them. It's so, when COVID hit, people were watching Broad City to remember what the world had been like before. And it's so sweet. It's so sweet to see.
I mean, that was like 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
That feels really far from now.
Yeah.
But when you say you love them, do they feel so distant from where you are now? Like, do they feel like characters you created and
No, not characters. They feel like my babies. They feel like my children. Yeah. I love them.
even though you are them?
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, that's, my inner child. But whatever the hell, was that 15 years ago?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel far to me. I'm just noticing the feeling of time, Like time is so much more elastic than we want to believe. Ooh! And it just, it's cool. I feel so, in a way, disembodied because I feel blessed to have that record of time.
As you two started making a bunch of videos and took it really seriously, a lot of people noticed, including Amy Poehler. And when you asked her to be on the last episode of the YouTube series, she agreed to it. And then you both asked her to produce the show that would become Broad City on Comedy Central. The day that the three of you meet, we did the pizza parlor scene. I want to know, when she comes in with a legal pad full of notes, you're in your mid-20s.
24 years old.
What did you make of that? And what notes did she have?
See, what's interesting? So I'm at a point where I'm processing pleasure more presently, taking pleasure in the moment.
Is this you doing that?
Oh, no. You know what? I'm steadying my fucking heart because I haven't processed this pleasure, this thrill. I'm sighing because the excitement, honestly, I just haven't made this space to process how phenomenally thrilling that was. She was so fucking cute with her fucking sunglasses, like round but square, and her little dress. And she's walking up to Cafe Clooney and she's like a buzzing bee, you know? And I just hadn't processed it. You know, I was thinking of her and Will, and she's on SNL and then Parks, and he was on Arrested, but it wasn't that. It was that was the idea. And then to see this like human.
Yeah. With a legal pad.
Yeah, like a dork doing her homework.
Full of notes for you.
And she's like 15 years older than me. For her to honor my 24-year-old ass with thought and time, and it was fucking crazy. It's, that's just what that is, where I'm like, oh shit. I'm like finally taking the pleasure in it. She was just so cute. Oh my God. Her little girl coming out, you know, where she's like, you know, you could just see her as a kid, you know, trying really hard at her after school activity or whatever the fuck. It was so sweet. And we were so clunky, you know, like so sweet.
I love that I'm here just to witness this. Like it's really happening to you in real time. Like you're having physical, full body responses.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
What notes did she give you?
She highlighted what she loved. And it was like pretty crazy to see what resonated with her. So to tell us stuff she loved is really helpful, because you're like, oh, I'll lean into that. You know, something she told us later in LA, you know, she's all casual about getting lunch at Chateau Marmont. And we're like, oh my fucking God, you know. She said something about the sexual politic of the show. First of all, I was like, politic is a word, LOL. She said that. And to like revere our material with I don't know what you call it, you know, theme. It was like, damn, you know, it was like just self-actualizing to be reflected in that way, and a privilege. But it was like, you know, she saw a world before we did. We just had one foot in front of the other, pitching ideas to sort of thread together to make a story.
Did she ever give you motherly advice?
She said, treat yourself like you are your own daughter, which you see clearly I've taken to heart. And like, I've recently come to this place of like loving my messy, ugly process, where I've been and mistakes I've made, rather than being embarrassed by it. Because it simply is. And like that's that's taken years to get to, but I've always held her words, and feels like I'm now making the connection. Feels like next dimension follow up to that.
The messy process you're talking about. This is like you on the set, running the show, chain smoking in the stairwell.
I mean, like, you can imagine the cartoonish nature that I was letting no one see. But oh my God, I was like really, it wasn't even exactly cigarettes I was addicted to. I just, got a thing to do and a reason to escape and an action to have.
A way not to do the job.
Yeah, definitely ducking out when it got hard. Yeah, needing to like kill myself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because it was so exciting. Not being able to process the excitement at all. Very nervous with that energy. Very fucking nervous. I was 27. 2013 we were making the first. 1987 I was born. 26? I don't know. Help.
I think that's right.
Okay, 26.
I'm not great at math, but yeah.
And we had, God, it was like crazy. And then, you know, everybody's older than me. And it's like, yeah, but like I have, you know, me and Abbi were like at the helm. It was hard to process in my body.
Did you enjoy any of it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
You enjoyed making it.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And also, like, I enjoyed giving birth. I loved giving birth. I had so much fun, in fact. So it was like that.
I can't tell if you're talking about your own daughter or if you're talking about each season.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, you're appropriately connecting the two. I enjoyed pushing my daughter out of my vagina.
Right.
And like that's what it felt like every fucking season.
I just wanted to make sure we got that on record.
Good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed pushing my daughter out of my vagina.
They'll run this audio clip through the iHeart catalog. They'll just run this one part.
You could use it as like a drop, like an old school DJ drop.
Yeah. And then it cuts to what?
Maybe an ad that you have to read. You know what I mean?
Yeah, imagine I'm like, Squarespace. Stamps.com.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm going to do.
But it was like, it was painful and it was extractive and I didn't.
What is this? Extractive.
Oh,
You keep saying this. We got here because of extractive. That was like one of the first few things you said.
You ever drive through Bakersfield?
Many times.
And you see those like fracking needles hitting the bottom of the fucking earth?
I'm usually just trying to get to where I'm going.
Violent.
And you're equating fracking in Bakersfield to making a show for Comedy Central?
Fracking parts of my spirit to give to this show and not having the structure yet to know what is my personal experience, know what is my public experience, what is my performance. And it's more about an internal organization than it is what landed on screen. What landed on screen is perfect. I love it. I don't know about perfect, but I haven't watched it because it's like so emotional and intense.
It's a perfect show.
Yeah. It's so emotional and intense. And I always like, there's this conversation around women compartmentalizing. That was to me more logistical than it was emotional. I didn't really know how to actually compartmentalize. And I don't mean violently context switching. I mean like safely and gently moving over here now, When
you were in the middle of, I want to talk about Comedy Central contracted.
We talking contracts, bitch.
7 seasons is what they wanted.
Yeah, girl.
Trump is elected in 2016.
Ooh.
You go into the 4th season in 2017.
Oh my God.
You called that time, quote, a bizarrely political process. Season 4 took it out of me from beginning to end. We couldn't do another one after 5. I couldn't do it. What did you mean by bizarrely political process?
Oh my God. It was like when Trump was elected, white people woke up in a new way, including ourselves. I guess like not getting political is a privilege. And when you're denied basic human rights or attempted to deny basic human rights, you realize that you're political fodder, like women's bodies are political fodder. And I think as white women, we just in our bodies had this new visceral reality.
And this impacted the making of the show how?
Oh, and I also just wanted to say like, a writer named Megan Angelo was working at the Wall Street Journal when we were making the web series. And she called our Broad City of the web series Sneak Attack Feminism.
Yeah.
And we were like, feminist? We were like, feminism? What? Not a new word, but like we were like us?
It was a novel concept.
Yeah, for us, we were like, didn't realize it was feminist,
You felt the same way when Amy Poehler said the politics of the show.
Exactly. I think we were, just the self-actualization and the ability to look at yourself from the outside in. So we were always feminist, and we were always naturally trying to be inclusive, whether we succeeded at that or didn't all the time. But the realizing that we were falling into a political category, we had to rewrite the whole season. And also like Paul W. Downs and Lucia Agnello and Jen Statsky, the creators of Hacks, were with us, we had a writer's room with many different writers also, writers who would just be there for a period, you know what I mean, for like 12 measly weeks. And we would write it and break it, and it would take 12 hours a day. But then Abbi and I would be alone with these scripts, just the two of us. And we would always do rewriting to make it possible for production, cutting and then just rewriting, But this was like creative rewrites. This was like ethos deepening rewrites. We rewrote half of the scripts, like significantly, and that was really hard.
So it doesn't sound like you enjoyed that process.
Oh, it was so painful. I mean, also it was painful. We were like going through personal things, both of us, but like also the trump of it all and the waking up and the, waking up to like, oh, this is how you feel. This is how like a lot of people have felt scared for the quality of your life, scared, like, really scared about the quality of your neighbor's life. Like this is how a lot of people have felt for a long time in this country. It was just scary and gross. And I think also like the opportunity to be productive instead of sit and feel your feelings was so alluring that it was like that's why it's like enjoy. It's not that I didn't enjoy it. We were proud to do that work.
Right.
Like it felt dutiful.
Okay.
It felt
And when did it no longer feel dutiful or necessary for the two of you to do it anymore?
Season 4 and season 5 felt dutiful in a new way. And then I would say it's not that it didn't feel that way and that's why we ended. That was like more of a personal decision where it was like, can't do this anymore. Can't be this person for 11 months of the year and then not know who I am outside of this. Because also like, the way that you were describing the early days and the, lack of or whatever, changing relationship with self-awareness in making the show, the moment you turn a camera on, things are different. Presence is different. Existence is different. So the moment we were making a TV show, we became showrunners, EPs, actors, and like.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
When the show ended, you said it takes a limb, it takes an arm. I had no limbs left.
Right.
My head's cut off.
Oh my God.
On the 5th,
Jesus.
I've got nothing left to give.
Yeah.
There's just a torso on the floor.
Hilarious, bitch. I mean, yeah.
So what I'm trying to get at is every time you did an interview for 5-6 years, you would tell the interviewer, there was BA, the time before I met Abbi.
Haha.
And there was AA, the time after Abbi.
Yeah. Oh.
And I guess I want to know, when I hear that and I hear the person who has nothing left to give, what does that look like on the other side of finishing the show?
Oh my gosh, Abbi. And Abbi really showed me how to claim my role as an artist. Really modeled that. And, with Abbi and Paul and Lucia, like defining my voice, I wondered if I even had a voice without them. I was manic that year. I was violently productive. I made a movie. I toured stand-up and taped my first hour. And it was like, I like got the flu after I finished my movie. And I had the first great loss of my life. The late, great Kevin Barnett was one of my best friends and collaborators. And that I really couldn't, oh God. I was
What?
I couldn't process that. It was so shocking. And I don't know, I had lined these things up, and And it was like a scramble. That's what it was. It was a scramble. It was a mad dash. And that was 2019.
Mm-hmm.
It took years to, I don't know, there's it was just a big, ugly, messy, amorphous grief process.
You called it violently productive.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I heard in one interview you said, I had to do the special because I needed to run away from the person I was making Broad City.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Run toward something. You know, and also like Broad City took 11 months of our year each year. And I felt, you know, work and life were separate things. And I felt like I had so little time for life.
I wonder, like, for people listening to this, they're going, I really liked Broad City. Like, it brought me a lot of joy.
Oh, the best.
You know, like, it still does.
Good.
And yet,
I love it.
And yet, the other thing I think that person is hearing, listening to this right now, it's like, oh my God, it cost a lot. It cost her a lot.
Yeah, but what are you going to do in life? Not spend? You know, I hope to die an empty vessel. You know, it's not a sacrifice. It's life. And, you know, I like my husband and I was like, I've wanted to rewatch for so long. And I've wanted to rewatch and do a TikTok, you know, like I've wanted to rewatch, but my husband and I watched the first act of 102 and we're dying laughing. And I attempted that a couple years ago and I haven't gone back. I mean, I love it. I love Broad City. I love it. I'm so proud of it. But, you know, we're here talking about a personal experience and it's different. It's totally distinct from the product that is meant to be shared.
Yeah. One's impersonal, one's personal.
Correct.
And our job here is to hold all of that.
Love it.
Your husband said to the New Yorker about the show, he said, going to their live shows over the years and watching it on TV, I've gotten an idea of the core facet of their movement. In case people can't tell, he is a scientist. If you remove the divide between performer and audience, you have something else.
Hold on. Oh my God. Okay, start again. What a sweetie.
If you remove the divide between performer and audience, you have something else. It's like a collaboration.
Oh, I just love his mind. And it just like tickles me how thoughtful. So my husband is the most earnest person I've ever met. That is so sweet. He is spiritually generous. Can I also say something else? Removing the divide between performer and audience. It did feel like that.
Right.
And see how he describes that lack of boundary that felt...
Wexler and Glazer.
Yeah, yeah. And of course we went with Wexler's my mother's maiden name. Abrams is Abby's grandmother's maiden name. So he's just describing that slipperiness.
Right.
That was vulnerable.
The movement he's talking about. I think I have an idea of what he's alluding to. But like when you rewatch the show and when you're thinking about it, it does feel so of a time. A kind of like liberal optimism that feels at this point in America, a little like it looks naive and hopeful in a way that I think I felt and many people listening probably felt. Where do you hold it, or how do you hold the show and what it meant to people and what it meant to you in 2024?
I hold it loosely things change. Consciousness is changing. It is global now. When you say liberal optimism, it's white ignorance as well.
Right.
You know, and then it took this vile, racist, violent misogynist, finally, after a long lineage of them, for white people to be like, damn, this sucks, you know?
Who is that?
Like a Northeast white liberal who's like, slavery never happened here, luckily. You know what I mean? Like down in the dirty South. You know, it's like an entitlement, an entitled voice, a self-preserving voice above all else, that voice.
It was good voice work.
Thank you so much. So how do I hold it? I hold it loosely and I observe how it changes within me and for others.
Your husband often says that you blacked out all of Broad City so that you could be the person you wanted to be. Now that you're...
Hilarious. Oh my God. You know, what he's saying is like, you know, the pleasure Ilana Wexler seemed to have, I was like blacking out. You know, it's like, it was all in there. It's from me. You know, it's from Abbi. But I was taking it from the unconscious folds in my brain and then giving it to her, and with complete separation, you know?
Now that you're on the other side of that and you're doing more stand-up, you know, around the country, who is that person?
That person is someone who is working hard and constantly to take the pleasure. It is not without lots of effort. I am in analysis. I do therapy 3 times a week. I talk to myself for hours before a show.
Yeah.
I do a practice I call stacking it up. I stack it up. I stack up the reality within the confines of my body and outside the confines of my body. You know, listening for how I'm feeling, acknowledging it, and talking about where I am, what the fuck is going on. You know, I stack it up.
You're talking out loud to yourself?
You know, because out loud, then I only have one thought stream. If it's not out loud, it's not really happening.
Right.
Today, in fact, in the middle of this junket, I was like, I did like a few solo interviews before Saint Angel Michelle came in, who just, everything's so fun and we're so, you know, present. But I was like being so hard on myself and being like, oh, that was okay. Oh, you dumb bitch. You know, was that good? Nah. Oh, come on, more, you know, whatever. And I was like, I'm going to take a second. And I'm just like walking the hallways, talking to myself out loud. I grab a coffee and these 3 ladies are chatting and I come in and they're like silent. I was like, hey. And then I grab my coffee and then I realized they were about to come in and interview us, you know? But I'm talking to myself being like, you know, whatever it is that you feel, you don't have to love this. It's fine. It's a performance. It's part of the job. So I'll do this out loud where I'm like, you know, I miss my family. I would say to myself, you know, like, of course I'd like to be home in sweatpants, cuddling, of course. But I put the time and effort into being here. I also do want to be here. These people haven't heard this material. It is so interesting to be in Cleveland. Like, what? I was in New York earlier and I'm in Cleveland now? That's cool. I am so privileged that these people want to be here with me. You know what I mean? So just like hours of this out loud. No, it's wild. And then by the time I get on stage, it fucking works. I'm like, you know, not even happy. And another thing I would say to myself, you don't have to be happy to be here. You have a job to do, material to perform.
Right.
And then when I'm on stage, what I am doing is making the space for whatever feelings occur in my body while I do the job I have to do, which is perform this hour of stand-up.
I've heard in your new act, there's a lot of talk about motherhood and the narratives we're told about being a mother and the joylessness in which it is often described.
Yes.
Can you talk on that for people who haven't got to hear it yet?
Yeah, I was, I'm born in 1987. I'm like really growing up as a child in the 90s. And these flat versions of moms, which is how women were either fuckable or not fuckable, like absolutely void of sexiness, which is the same as joy and pleasure and fun and spontaneous creativity to me. Or they're like jokingly horny moms with big fake tits or whatever. And most of the moms I saw were like desexualized, stressed, and completely unrepresented in the culture. Completely unrepresented, devalued. It was teenage girls who were highly valued when I was growing up. And moms were old at this point, boring, annoying. I love and relate to Marge Simpson's, but that's all they were at the time. And it was like it felt so trapping. I felt even as a child in the segregated suburbs of Long Island, trapped. Like, when the fuck do I get to get out of here? Damn, it was just like, it was not, I'm just having so much fun. Parenting with my partner, it is so fun. It's crazy. It's crazy. I never saw this modeled. I mean, like, my parents, I love them dearly. I had like a lovely upbringing, but like, they weren't having a blast. You know what I mean? And
what does a blast look like in your house?
Giggling. Also, like, not saying very much, just letting our child do her thing and like giggling hard and also being creative, like just treating it as a creative act, parenting. That's what having a blast looks like.
You said in the beginning that you consider yourself an optimist and that you believe broadly, vaguely in the future. Do you believe in the future because you have a kid that's going to have to live in it?
Probably. Yeah, probably. But it's not even like, I hate when people are like, they'll change it. No, they won't. The planet is burning. Billionaires are not taxed. Healthcare, people go to the fucking ER to get a general checkup. Things are ugly, and they're probably going to get even uglier. They're so ugly and horrible.
But the thing is, before you had a kid, you would always describe yourself in interviews as an optimistic nihilist. Now that you've had a kid, you've dropped the word nihilist, and I'm wondering what that is and why why it looks like that.
I'm thinking of the nihilism as almost like my own denial of my death. Whereas now I'm like accepting the mortality of it, because I'm like, capitalism is.
Yeah. What do you mean by this?
Where it's like, I'm like, yeah, I love people, but shit's fucked up, right? And I was really saying like, I have faith in people, but we're all gonna die. And now I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Of course we're gonna die. That's what being human is. Where it's like, it's not like it's not like the components are different. They're just. It's almost like
recontextualizing.
They're actually more integrated. They're more integrated. This is more of like a bisque than a stew with such separate parts. Where it's like, of course we're going to die. It's okay. And it's scary, and and it like makes everything meaningless in a way. But like, that's okay too.
Yeah. No. The pull quote from this interview will be bisque, not a stew.
Good. Genuinely representative.
I feel like we'd be remiss to not. Before we go, since we've covered so much in the short amount of time, I know you said in the beginning that you have hope and you're broadly believing in the goodness of people, but I think for most people that have spent time online and especially if they've spent time on your social media, since the attacks on October 7th, there's been an ongoing, increasingly fraught and divisive conversation about Palestinian life, Israeli life. You posted about a week after that attack, in which you wrote, "I am a white American Jew who has wanted apartheid to end in Israel for years. My Judaism and faith is not synonymous with Israel. I know a lot of Israelis share this sentiment. I love being Jewish and am so proud to be a Jewish woman. The violence we are seeing is terror. It is male-led, and it is psychotic, and it is sadistic, and it is unfolding in the heart of humanity and connects to all things. And it unfolds in our palms in real time. I abhor social media for its intoxicating lure into narcissistic freefall, but I appreciate its vehicle of recording a global consciousness. I mean, we're about 7 months into this. You being like an outspoken and publicly known Jewish woman saying that, writing that, I have to imagine has come at, there's been a cost, I imagine. I want to know, between like your community and also your family, what are those conversations like for you in this moment?
Everything is a trade-off. Maybe there's a cost, but I did not want that shit anyway. If you are ready to hate me because I don't want Israel to bomb Palestine, I'm like, I don't even want you anyway. I don't want to be connected. I actually want disconnect from those people. They're scary. You know, I don't even see it as a cost at all. And I am so blessed. I am so blessed to be having and have had this experience with stand-up. It is so empowering to go directly to the people. And my priority is to protect my spirit and body. So I don't see it as a cost. I see it as a detox, as a clarification, as a concentrate of my spirituality. I don't want those people. I don't look at their comments. They're not real. They don't actually know me. I don't know them either. And I totally understand Jewish fear and live it, and the fear of anti-Semitism, and how scary Hamas's attacks were, murdering 1,200 people, 1,200 Israelis. Like, that was so scary and insane. But I find the situation clear. Israel's response is disproportionate. And, you know, it's both, it both feels not complicated, and I resent the binary. But I'm just like, I don't know. I think it's, how do I hold all this? Well, I'm really lucky to have such smart parents who allow the younger generation to lead them, always consistently open to me and my brother Elliot and my husband David, telling them what's up, trusting us and believing us, and also not blindly, talking about it for a long time. We've been talking about race and gender and whiteness. Oh my God, I was just talking their fucking ears off recently. And my dad was like, about whiteness and Jewishness and the white currency. And my dad was like, I'm not sure I'm following. He's like, you're losing me, baby. You're losing me.
Have you seen the same look in my eyes during this episode?
Oh, gosh. I didn't think I had, but now I'm replaying in the mind.
You set me up for it.
And my husband and I, we're chatting the night away. We're constantly talking. And my brother and I are just get closer and closer. And I've been loving, we're so close, and we are just so down to disagree, agree, figure it out. So my true core tribe, I'm very privileged to have a healthy, ever-changing discourse with.
I love that for you, and I'm grateful that you have been as outspoken as you have been. The last thing, since the special's not out, can you tell us the bit that gives you the most joy to say on stage right now?
Oh my goodness. That's such a sweet and generous question. The bit that gives me the most joy. Well, I'll tell you this. Okay. Something I didn't say before was about one of my favorite quotes from Mr. Rogers, that this world is filled with too much information and too little wonder, which, like, girl, thank God he's not around to see what the fuck's going on now. And I have found this time we have spent together to be filled with wonder, openness, curiosity, and trust in what arose. So to button that, I do this bit about this story about when I was just about to give birth right before. And then I'm like, okay, a couple weeks later, I had this baby. Mm-hmm. And when she was laid on my chest, I said to her those 3 magic words. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit.
And the husband?
Oh, I mean, there's a whole bit after this, but I was giving you a button.
Holy fucking shit. I think that actually is the title of this episode.
I mean, because truly, like, you blow my mind. You know what I mean? It's a space for reflection. Holy fucking shit.
Until next time.
I look forward to it.
Ilana Glazer, safe travels back to New York.
Thank you. That was absolutely enjoyable. I am so lucky to have been interviewed by you. Thank you.